Welcome into 5 Wide Fantasy, the debut of a rebranded OwnersBox fantasy football show. Today, getting into the first mock draft of the season. So what we'll do is we'll give you an idea of what your PPR drafts are going to look like early on this season. Again, we won't do too much of like the analytical advice. This is more an opportunity for you guys to get an idea of where these players are landing right now. Cole is joining me today. We're drafting out of the 6 spot and the 9 spot. Guys, I've been chatting with people in the Discord a lot yesterday, actually last night with a few guys in the Discord about how interesting the draft is this year. Cole, I'm going to get things started, but what do you think of the running back position? Because I'm kind of worried about like everybody past, I like DeAndre Swift this year a lot, but like everyone past maybe JT, McCaffrey, Henry, and Eckler. And I like Swift, but who would you like kind of have at 5 or in that middle tier?
For sure, yeah. For running backs, there's the clear top 4. There's the tier 1, and I think there's a huge drop off after that. Like and all the running backs will go 1 to 4. I mean, they didn't go in the top 5 there, but you kind of got lucky getting a running back at 6.
Yeah.
So I think in most drafts they're going to go in the first 4 or 5, and after that, I'd probably go Najee just because of the volume he'll get in the Steelers' offense. But him, Joe Mixon, or Swift is the tier after that for me.
Right. So like the wide receiver position is going to have a massive impact this year compared to others in terms of like the value you put compared to how much you want to attack running back early, because there's plenty of depth at wide receiver. So for me, Jamar Chase is still available. I still have Austin Eckler. I do have DeAndre Swift higher in my running back rankings. I'm going to go Jamar Chase though, because I do put a lot of value on grabbing some of these guys at the wide receiver position early. So I like Chase at the 6.
Yeah, I'm going Dalvin Cook here because I had him at number 5 on mine. He was my number 5 running back, so I'm just happy to get him here.
So the biggest thing is like I've realized from doing a few mocks with people in the Discord is like I need to have a clear strategy in terms of, do you attack running back really early even though you don't think you're getting the best player in terms of overall fantasy output? Because you can get great depth at wide receiver later on, or do you just consistently go best player available? Because at that point, you'll probably end up with 8 receivers on your team, to be honest.
For sure. So this is my strategy in almost every draft. This is what I try to do. I try to take a tight end very early. So I'm going to go Kelsey here. I think he's a tight end 1 over Mark Andrews, so I'm happy to get him there. But I like to take a tight end early in almost every draft.
I was very surprised that Kelsey was still available at past the turn, because usually that's where he's going. CD Lamb is another guy I'm really high on. This is where I get stuck. Like I could have gone with Swift or gone with a Austin Eckler in that spot, but honestly, getting Kamara all the way back in the middle of the 2nd is gravy for me. Even though the legal situation, you have probably saw that footage. I don't know. I haven't heard anything. Deshaun Watson's kind of taken over from that conversation.
Yeah, is there a suspension or anything coming from that, or?
I think they always do the legal proceedings thing, right? Where they're just like not really going to tell you anything concrete until they've decided it. But that was
you just have to draft him hoping he's not going to miss a lot of time.
So guys I have left here, I'm looking at Cam Akers, Mike Evans, man. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything at tight end with Kittle. No, I would definitely go. I'm going to go Mike Evans. Just with Chris Godwin being out, massive opportunity. Do we still not know anything about Rob Gronkowski right now?
No.
I don't know if he's going to come back. So there's a huge opportunity for Evans, but also like later in your drafts, Russell Gage, even pass catching side, or who knows what Rachaad White's impact will be as a rookie. So.
Yeah, so here, top is Ezekiel Elliott and Cam Akers, but I don't really like them. I actually had Cam Akers on my bust list. I don't think he's going to have a great year, so I'm going to take the 3rd QB and Justin Herbert, who I think might have an MVP-type season this year.
Damn. Quarterback in the third.
Yeah, and back. I'm going T. Higgins or Terry McLaurin. I need a receiver here, and I don't love the running backs.
Higgins still being available in the 4th is nice. He is like a superstar dynasty wide receiver for a lot of people. I've seen people having him top 5. It's hard for me to go 2 Bengals wide receivers in the top 5 of dynasty. That's kind of scary. So I've got 2 wide receivers. I like J.K. Dobbins. Spoiler for literally the entire preseason, I'm going to talk about Miles Sanders probably every video because I love him this year. I like Dobbins. Yeah, Dobbins is probably. I do have Dobbins slightly ahead of Sanders in my rankings for the year. So I'll go Dobbins. This is the most running backs I think I've ever taken in the first 4 rounds in the mocks I've done. So that's not bad. Actually, I'm happy with how things are starting.
Back to you.
Okay. So we are looking at Elijah Mitchell still available, Miles Sanders still available. Courtland Sutton. I currently have Courtland Sutton in my top 12.
Tight end position's looking weak now.
Yeah, tight end. Once I'm through those top 3 guys, it's up in the air. What do you think of Sutton? What do you think of the Broncos wide receivers?
I mean, I just don't know who's going to be the clear wide receiver 1 because, like, you could see Sutton I could see him being the wide receiver 1 and having 1,200 yards and 10 touchdowns. Or I could see Jerry Jeudy doing that. I don't know.
I see Sutton being DK and then Jeudy being Tyler Lockett.
You think they're both going to have really good fantasy value?
Yeah, I think that I don't think Courtland Sutton is as good as DK Metcalf, but I see the role wise of DK being the big play guy and Jeudy living over the middle of the field. So I'd rather take if I was last year talked about DK being a guy that was going to bust. The hot take I had before the season was that he wasn't going to be a wide receiver 1. He wasn't, but I'd rather take a guy like of his profile in the 5th, knowing that I can get those big plays as opposed to with DK last year, you had to spend a 2nd round pick to get him. So I like Sutton. I like Sutton a lot. I think he can be a wide receiver 1 this year.
Yeah, I'm taking your guy here, Miles Sanders.
Yeah, I love Miles Sanders. If this is his ADP though.
This is where he's
going
pretty much,
which shocks me. I'd be really surprised if his ADP does not change drastically over the next.
He's getting drafted below Eli Mitchell, Treylon Burks.
Yeah, I would be surprised if it doesn't change drastically. Let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. God, Lamar in the 6th. Jalen Hurts in the 6th too. I like those are 2 guys that are going pretty a fair bit later than I originally thought. I always like looking at these early is fun because you get an idea of what people are originally thinking, but I'm sure this is going to change. Okay, for the sake of speed here, moving along, I do like Lamar. I think the sixth round is a fine spot to grab your QB. We're not going to find, I don't think, in like previous years of finding a guy in the 10th, 11th round that can, finish inside the top 6, top 8. I don't see that guy this year. Like Hurts was a trendy one last year and definitely worked out. And the fact Hurts was still available to me, that kind of is a kick in the dick, but that's fine. 7th round. What do you?
I like Darnell Mooney. I think he'll be really good this year.
Dawson Knox still available. Man, it's between Mooney and Cordell Patterson for me here.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how low his ADP is. I mean, he's definitely going to do worse than last year. He's going to have a smaller role, but I still think he'll be quite good.
So I'm going to take Patterson. I'm literally in the midst of writing a must draft running backs, like an early must draft running backs. He's right now the running back 35 in consensus. I have him as 27. The offense is still just as bad, and it's with a quarterback who's less willing to push the ball down the field because it's Drake London is just assumed the wide receiver 1. Pitts, of course, is there, but it's Zacchaeus and Bryan Edwards. Bryan Edwards literally just was put on the outside by the Raiders and just was like, just run a straight line, bro, and come back every time the play's over and just keep doing that. He did nothing last year.
Yeah.
So I don't know how the offense changes too much from the year before.
Yeah, so I got Darnell Mooney last round. I took him, and here I'm going Tony Pollard as sort of a handcuff to Zeke.
Not even. He's better than Zeke.
He is better than Zeke, and if Zeke gets hurt, which he will, there's going to be a few games Tony Pollard's going to start, and whenever he does, he seems to get 100-plus yards.
Yeah, I think
every time.
I think Pollard's like I'm not sure if Pollard in like the role Zeke has would be as efficient as he was, but he was a tackle breaker that was really good when given the opportunity. Yeah. Here's where the depth of this like class of wide receivers really shows. Another guy that I'll be banging the drum for all preseason leading up is Cadarius Tony. I will reach on him here at 8.8. I probably could have got him on the way back, but I love Cadarius Tony. Olave was in my thoughts. Just one of the guys, another guy from the Discord, Savcon, shout out to him. He sent me a tweet that Michael Thomas still is not ready, like still not healthy somehow.
Like he's still not playing?
He's still not at
in training
OTAs,
camp?
yeah.
Well, I mean, Olave could be in for a huge season. And Jarvis.
This is where the running backs are like thin. This
I
is
like
where
James Cook, but
this is where I just started building out a ton of depth at wide receiver.
Yeah.
So we're looking at guys like Sky Moore, Alan Lazard, Russell Gage, Jarvis Landry, Robert Woods, who is 30. I was just doing some research on seeing where I could project Treylon Burks. And speaking of Treylon, where did he go?
he went early in the fifth round.
Early.
The end of the fifth round. Or
I'm gonna go with the upside that Christian Watson gives me in the Packers offense. Really good athletic profile and size. Lazard is definitely probably the more sure thing safe bet, but I'll go with upside considering I really like the trio of Chase, Evans, and Sutton that I have.
yeah, I'm going with a similar thing. I'm going with Sky Moore in the Chiefs offense and hoping he can bank on his potential and have a huge role.
Would you go? Would you safely go? Would you take Marquez Valdez-Scantling or Sky Moore?
I'd take Sky Moore, and I'd also take Christian Watson before I took Alan Lazard.
Yeah. Okay.
Both of them. Yeah.
There you go.
Even though I had Alan Lazard in my sleepers.
Yeah, Lazard is. I think Lazard is safe. There'll be volume for him, but I'd rather in that offense with Aaron Rodgers, if I'm taking guys in the 10th, 11th round, or in this case it was the 9th, but I'd rather look for someone who can somehow is going to beat out Cortland Sutton 1 week as a starter because Sutton has a bad matchup because that's how much he's exploded since the draft. This is where things again are just ugly. I was hoping Isaiah Spiller would be left there for me. Speaking of players that could somehow earn an opportunity, Ronald Jones. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has been a bit of a disaster, I guess I would say, since when you consider the draft capital as a first round pick. So Ronald Jones, I think, is going to certainly get a chance if Clyde's not healthy at some points, but even if they're not liking what they're seeing, he could be there. Why don't I, for the sake of it, I can look at tight end Kmet. I actually like Kmet there. I think Fields is going to be in for a big year. I really have the option of going Kmet, or I could go with an Alan Lazard as a safer play. Since I didn't take Chris Olave, Jarvis Landry wouldn't be a bad play either.
I'm sure Jarvis Landry's ADP
Tim
would
Patrick,
go up a ton if Michael Thomas is out.
Yeah. I will go Kmet, though. I like Kmet. Just so I can assure you guys that I show you a tight end that I've taken. Team 5 got Gronkowski.
The two guys I just wanted went there, Lazard and Gage.
Engage, yeah.
So, Damian Pierce. I think he's one of the rookies that could do really well this year. Him and Rashad White on the Bucs.
There's good opportunity for Pierce. It's just about whether or not that's valuable at all.
Their whole offense is kind of just bad, so I don't know if there would be any value.
Tunyon's still there, tight end.
Yeah, I have two backup running backs now. I really don't need that. There's a lot of receivers, but I don't love George Pickens. I don't really think he'll be great this year.
Yeah, I'm not really big in, if I could, I'll definitely take Deontay Johnson if the ADP's right, but I probably am out on the Chase Claypool, George Pickens, even Pat Freiermuth deal.
Yeah, I'm going Valdez-Scantling here in going 4 rounds after Sky Moore.
There you go. Okay, last pick. If I didn't have Cortland Sutton, Tim Patrick would be a great flyer if you didn't get in on the Broncos offense at all. I definitely think Tim Patrick's still a really solid. It's not always a bad thing to have the third wide receiver in an offense. Gosh. Again, I'm a big proponent of don't take your handcuff. You don't need to take the handcuff because Gus Edwards is here and I have J.K. Dobbins. It's never a terrible thing at the end of the draft, though. I'm going to go wide receiver, though. Keep building the wide receiver depth. I'm going to take a shot on where did he go here? I would do Donovan Peoples-Jones, but I can't do that. I'll go Jacoby Myers, a little safety, combined with Christian Watson. That's probably better. But that is 12 rounds of what your drafts would look like right now here in June, middle of June. Guys, let us know what you guys think of some of these players, the ADPs. Let us know what you think of some of these guys we like. And again, I have positional rankings. We've got tons of content out on the blog. I'll put the link to the blog here. Join the Discord as well. We'll have tons of discussion on fantasy. Any questions you might have, we'll get you ready for the fantasy season. But subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed. We'll be putting videos out on probably Sundays and Thursdays for the next month or so. So expect that then around 6 o'clock on those days. And we'll see you guys next time.